Singapore Home Brew on MoneyFM 89.3.
Joining us now in the studio, we are going to carry on our conversation with XL World Academy head of school, Tammy Murphy, about a brand new $27 million innovation hub that is opening up in conjunction with some of these new courses that they're offering. Tammy, welcome to the studio. This is an amazing new project that you are working on.
Well, first, I have to really just start by thanking XL Education for their investment in the World Academy, because that commitment to our school, the learners, is going to really make a big difference. So this is an amazing 5-story building. I'm so excited. Look, I'm dropping things that we hope will open mid-February, Glenn.
Give us a sense of what's on each of these levels of the building and how it's going to integrate into the current campus.
Very sleek, modern, kind of industrial, light-filled facility that's 5 stories. And when you walk in, the entire ground floor is devoted to a design center. Really important IB course, design technology, that happens from 6th through 12th grade. So lots of bases there for kids to create, to invent, and to develop prototypes of their ideas.
It's so fascinating because effectively you've got this architectural blank canvas, if you like. How do you decide as head of schools what goes in, what doesn't go in? How do you go through that process?
Well, I have to be honest. A lot of this happened before I arrived, so I'm just benefiting from the great ideas of other people. But we're certainly shaping it together with our teachers and our wonderful secondary principal, Mark Peterson. After you get through the design floor, when you get to the second floor, there is really the first, I think, in Singapore, which is in a magnificent esports arena that will also operate as a black box theater. Linked to that is an amazing outdoor cafe, covered because of wonderful Singapore rain. But it'll just be a great place for our secondary students to collaborate, to unwind, and take care of the wellness.
Yeah. The World Academy up in Yishun has for years now had an esports gaming stadium. In fact, I think it was the first school in Singapore to have one. But as we look at esports, as we look at the new AI course that you are about to roll out, starting with the grade 6 kids, what is the vision? What is the plan for some of these non-traditional learning tools, environments for kids that some parents might say, hey, wait a minute, really? A gaming studio, AI? Come on, let's get them back to reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about the World Academy is, of course, we have a strong academic focus, but we know that there's other ways to do that than rote lecturing and book study. And there's a lot of learning that comes from esports, collaboration, teamwork. You're thinking about strategy. So we know that there's more than one way to achieve these goals, and we're looking at really new ways because this engages the learner, and a lot of brain research tells us that synapses and neurons fire, and some neural branching happens in different ways when they're engaged at this level.
I mean, further to Glenn's point, really, I suppose you need that collaborative effort with the stakeholders. You mentioned there the people, so you've got the investors, you've got the teachers, but I'm guessing that the parents and their feedback over the years, that would go into the kind of things you include in the new hub?
100%. And I think most importantly is always the voice of our students, giving students agency. A lot of great examples. There was a secondary student that came to me not too long ago wanting a course that we didn't offer and had a great justification written of why we should add that course. Of course, took that to our secondary principal, and that course is now going to be part of our program offering next year. So I think student agency and voice and what they need and want in their education is really important.
What was the course?
It is a new computer science course that they wanted us to offer.
Yeah, it's a big question, but how in a world that is changing so rapidly do we educate kids for the future? How do we make sure that they are ready for careers that, frankly, most of them will have that aren't even a glimmer in somebody's eye yet, quite honestly?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we laugh about now is how much rote memory went into memorizing history facts. Now we know that we really need to teach more of the soft skills, of these entrepreneurial skills. That's what's really going to carry them to the future for careers, as you said, that we don't even know. So, I mean, I think that's just something that's integrated into the fabric of our school.
The fact that, kids can look up history facts online, they can use a calculator to do complex math. in a way that we had to learn our times tables and like you say. Is that part of the thinking? It's like, hey, let's leapfrog some of these traditional modes and get into the new stuff.
Yeah, and I think because we started talking about this facility, facilities inspire and kind of change culture. So that's also part of our thinking. I read something really great. It was a Google interview questions. And what they want when they ask a certain question is they want the interview candidate to say, I'm not really sure of that answer, but I have ways to find out. And so I love that, and I think it speaks to it.
Yeah.
The history political major in the room. I feel I have to push back a little, because he hasn't done me any harm, and say that, yes, I agree that ChatGPT can skip the initial fact-finding part, but then you still need to work on the analytical skills, the deductive skills, the reasoning skills. They're going to set the kids up for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, so maybe it's to the historian, I will say, it's not as important to me now that they know the exact year that war happened, but when they look at 3 or 4 year wars over a period of time, they can find themes or learnings from that.
Trends, perspectives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Welcome back to Saturday Mornings here on Money FM. In our Singapore Homebrew segment, we are in conversation with Tammy Murphy, the CEO of Schools for XL Education and the head of School for XL World Academy. Tammy, talking about this new $27 million innovation hub, the ground floor maker space, working areas, and very tactile creation area for folks. What's on the other 4 floors as you go up the innovation hub?
Yeah, so after we leave the second floor with the esports arena and black box theater, you're going to head into a magnificent third floor that's completely dedicated to digital media. So in there, the learners will be able to use the green screen room, AR, VR, MR, robotics, huge screens to produce show their work, and a lot of collaboration spaces so that they can work together on whatever the concepts are. We're pretty excited about that floor because that will transcend the entire school population, where they can utilize this floor to further enhance their units of study.
Nice.
If we keep going, our 11th and 12th graders are going to benefit from some magnificent science labs, amazing light-filled, industrial kind of looking classrooms. And on the top floor, I think our students are just going to really enjoy this kind of junior, senior, 11th, 12th grade lounge where all of our university and college counselors will be so that they have quick access to them.
Well, extraordinary. What are your long-term hopes or ambitions for XL?
Well, what I want to be known as is a school that not only balances strong academics, but a culture of kindness. I think that's something that I see in our school each and every day. And as we grow in student population and change, that's what I want our graduates to be known as, students that balance both their academic program, but just being good humans.
Yeah, Tammy, you've headed up schools in Dubai, in the U.S., all over. This is a very diverse school population that you have here on purpose. I know that the school takes a great deal of effort to make sure that the diversity stays in check. What is your view on how you assemble an assembly of students that is so diverse and you keep them, coming into this culture of kindness, as you say?
Well, I think a cornerstone of our CIS accreditation, of our IB accreditation, is that we want really internationally minded young people. And part of that is being able to live in a world with people that don't all see things as you do or celebrate holidays that you do, and that we learn to respect and appreciate those differences.
Specifically in Singapore, do you think the government already does a lot of that already just within the old Singapore context? But is there a different kind of opportunity here that there might be in other countries to encourage that?
It's the fabric of our school. It's what we expect from every member of the community. I think when things like that are modeled, and then they're also modeled in the country in which you live, you just can't beat that.
Well, let's turn it around. Why is Singapore such a great place to have an international school?
Well, 8 months in, still pretty new to this great place, but
there's some good books about Singapore I could recommend. I can't remember who wrote them.
If only there was an author in the studio that's written several of them.
I'll have to look that up when I leave, Neil.
Please do.
I find it just a very welcoming country with new eyes. I can say that because as you said, I've lived all over the world, but I feel very welcomed here.
A year from now, as you come back and talk to us about the new AI curriculum that's just starting, about the Innovation Hub, what story are you hoping to be able to tell at that time?
I'm hoping to tell you the program's expanding, and that some of the concepts, principles, and learnings from this are now infused throughout the school. Obviously, we're starting with 6th grade as a pilot, but we really want that to expand throughout the school. And I hope that, at least 4 or 5 of the apps the students invented have now been purchased and are being sold all over the world.
And we will get a cut, presumably.
Yeah.
For,
Especially the head of school.
Yeah.
Show a little love.
Pioneering them on this very show.
Tammy Murphy, the CEO of Singapore Schools for XL Education and the head of school at the XL World Academy. Thanks so much for being with us today.
I love being here. Thanks.
To listen to